This is the Echo Show 5. It is Amazon's latest addition to their ever-growing lineup of smart speakers and smart displays. Hey guys, and welcome to Tech and More Tech. So in this video, I'm going to go over the hardware, the software, and where I think it shines. And at the end of the video, I will let you know if you should buy it or not. If you want a more detailed written review, head on over to techandmoretech.com or check the link in the description below. Let's get started. The Echo Show 5 is essentially a smaller version of the Echo Show, which at 10 inches is a pretty large device. The Echo Show 5, however, is almost perfect for something like a bedside table or even a home office. It shares the same overall design as the second generation Echo Show, but it's kind of like a big boxy prism. Surrounding the 5.5-inch touchscreen is either a black or a white bezel with a matching mesh sort of fabric around the rest of the device. Due to the boxy prism design of the device, when it's sitting on your bedside table or on your desk and you look at it, it's really just all you see is a screen. Which is to say, there's really nothing particularly special about this design. The top of the Echo Show 5 has exactly the kind of buttons that you'd expect it to have. Has a mute button that also disables the camera, has a volume down and volume up button, and then it also has a physical slider that covers the camera in case you just don't want it to ever be used. There's also two microphones at the top that are used to listen to your commands. Yes, the Echo Show 5 does have a camera included, just like its larger sibling, the Echo Show, and unlike the Google Nest Hub. Amazon doesn't specifically have their own video chatting platform, but they kind of do. If you have the Alexa app on your phone, you can then use that to call other people that have an Alexa app on their phone. But then you can also then use that to call other people that have Echo Shows, for example, or you can use the Echo Show to call another Echo Show. Or you can use the drop-in feature, which was somewhat controversial last year when it came out, which basically allows you to enable the video camera on someone's device without them having to say yes. But you do have to opt in on this on the device end. The back of the device houses a single 4-watt speaker as well as the connection ports, which is a power plug, a micro USB port, and there's also a 3.5mm headphone jack. So if you wanted to connect it wired to some sort of speaker that you have, you can do it that way too. If the mention of a 4-watt speaker makes you think, that doesn't sound like a lot, you'd be absolutely correct. Well done to you, detective. Basically, the speaker in there is perfectly fine for what you might imagine the use case is, which is maybe it'll tell you your news, your upcoming events, just like the simple back and forth you might have with Alexa, but then also basic kind of background music. I've been listening to Spotify while writing this review, and I was perfectly pleased by the sound. It wasn't distorted. It's not going to rattle your neighbor's feelings with the bass, but obviously it's not intended to. But it's there, and it doesn't distort the audio too much, especially if you keep it around 30 to 50% volume. So basically the speaker is good enough that you don't need to connect it to anything else for it to sound decent. The screen has a 960 by 480 resolution with a pixel density of about 195 ppi, which all things considered is pretty decent, especially for a device that's not primarily meant to be used with the screen, but then also you're not going to have it up close to your face like you would with your phone. It's going to be a couple feet away from you. You're not going to look at it all that closely. So the screen overall is perfectly acceptable, perfectly decent. It's got good colors, decent viewing angles, but again, you're not going to be watching it from an angle anyways. You're going to angle it towards yourself and then you're basically never going to move it. The one thing this screen does not have is True Tone, which is Apple's thing, but it's basically where the screen will change the color temperature to match the ambient lighting that it's in. So this device doesn't have any sort of ambient light sensors. The software on the Echo Show 5 is exactly the same as it is on the Echo Show. My only gripe is that it's not the fastest device in the world, which is to say it's not laggy in terms of input or in terms of animation, which is just super frustrating. It's actually quite smooth in both those regards, but more so if you're jumping, let's say from Spotify into the smart home portion of it, it takes a couple seconds. It's not instant, but then again, the screen is sort of meant to be a little bit more secondary. It's not a device that you need to interact with if you need something super fast, like at this very second. So if you dive into the home and clock settings on the Echo Show, you can then choose what you want to turn off and what you want to turn on. If you just want just the time and the weather, you can just have that. If you want some of your photos to be cycled through, you can have that too. If you want trending topics, basically you can completely customize the home screen to exactly how you want it, which is more than the competitors can offer, which is great. I feel like when you have these sort of prompts that are always cycled that kind of make you want to interact with the device. It gives the screen a purpose. Otherwise, if you just have the clock on it and just like maybe the weather and you don't actually really use the screen much, then you kind of just have a glorified photo frame. But personally, like if I want to have a smart display, I want the display to also be useful to me. I want to be able to interact with the technology. Navigating around the Echo Show 5 is pretty straightforward. If you swipe down, you get your quick access, your home button, your brightness, your settings, and your do not disturb. It'll also show any sort of active music that's playing if you have, Spotify or Pandora or whatever. Swiping right across the screen will jump between your clock and the most recent trending topic or reminder or whatever you have set in your home screen settings. And then swiping left from the screen will bring up your sort of quick actions. If you want to jump into like your smart home stuff or you want to set an alarm, quick little actions like that are going to be on your left. And all of this is accessible from anywhere, so you don't always have to go back to the home screen to enable these swiping gestures. Speaking of the smart home section, it is okay if you have to use it by touch. Main reason why is because everything is listed obviously horizontally, but kind of like on a big tile. So then if you have a lot of different lights and devices and whatever, being able to just quickly go through them is a bit of a task. And especially as I mentioned before, it's not the fastest device in the world. If you have to like scroll through a whole bunch of stuff to find the light that you exactly want to turn off, luckily you can then also filter by groups or by device type. So then you can go to groups and it'll show like maybe like all your other different rooms that you've made. Or if you know exactly the kind of device that you want to do, you can do devices and then tap on like lights or thermostat or camera or whatever. And then be able to jump quickly that way. And then it also doesn't have all the functionality that you would expect it to have. For example, you can't change the color of like a hue light on the screen itself. You can just change the brightness. I mentioned before that it is a smaller device. It's obviously designed for smaller spaces. And one place where it really excels and it really shines is the bedside table, where it basically works as the world's fanciest alarm clock, but is an excellent fancy alarm clock. Starting off, there's a built-in sunrise mode, which basically has the screen turn from off or very, very low brightness up to, let's say, full brightness within 15 minutes of your alarm going off. Combined with the routine automations that you can create in the Alexa app, the Echo Show 5 ends up being a really nice little smart home device. Now, of course, you can do that with a regular Echo Dot, but having that screen there can often provide really useful and quick glanceable information as well. You don't have to keep prompting for it. But additionally, sometimes you just don't want to talk. First thing in the morning, you don't really want to just jump into a conversation with Alexa. Maybe you'd rather just, tap the screen 1 or 2 times and get the information you need or turn off the alarm. Now, I've mentioned that the home office is another location where this is going to be a really good device. And the reason I say that is because even though pretty much everything that you can do on there, you can do on your work computer, but it's nice to separate the tasks. On your work computer, you're just going to do your work. Whereas if you just quickly want to, change the light, you've got a dedicated device for that. And you can just quickly do that without breaking up your flow. And for that reason, I really appreciate having a smart display device that has both a great voice AI Alexa and a really simple and easy to use screen. So all this brings us to the golden question. Should you buy it? The Echo Show 5 is priced at $90, which is about $10 more than its competition from Google, which is about $80, and about $70 less than the larger Echo Show. Amazon even discounted this to $50 on Prime Day. So if you wanted to wait until maybe Black Friday or some other sales event, you can probably pick it up for about $50 or so, but even at $90, it's a really good deal. Considering all the features that Alexa has, along with a great experience and interface, this is definitely a device I can happily recommend to anyone. Alarm clocks may have fallen to the wayside in the favor of just using your phone, but the Echo Show 5 is the alarm clock that your bedside deserves. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I will get to them as best I can. If you liked the video, hit that like and subscribe button for plenty more videos and reviews coming about. As always, see ya.